you guys want to discuss meta changes?
I think we're going to talk about like current side decking practices, like what cards we should expect to see in the sides more now because of branded, and then just like the general impact branded's had on the format so far. And it was three of the top 8 spots for
top 8.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. That's like same as actually not, but it was more pranks in Charlotte, right?
Yeah, in Charlotte it was like 36% prank kids.
Yeah, so I don't see any e-ban list happening. I'm gonna cut my camera off though. We can get actual good audio and no lag. Dang, look at Kazi. Dang, look at went from looking all blurry, looking all clean now. It's from me cutting my camera off. Like I cut my camera off and Kazi got clear as hell.
It's the camera.
It's me. I don't know. I think it's my internet. But yeah, so we're
yeah, Boyd wants to do the podcast without the webcams and just do audio. Okay. Just because he said sometimes it looks bad whenever he's like editing the video.
Yeah, when it goes to like render,
like, the cameras are
blurry. I don't know what it does, but it makes it even blurrier when it goes to render. I guess it's because of like I don't know where it's filmed through webcams or something.
All right, give me a sec. Let me go to Facebook and say like because Kazi got his photo from his from him playing, so like let me get mine because my shit look good.
That photo's so clean. The one that Tanya took, holy shit.
Oh, I should get mine too.
That junk clean. Wait, oh yeah, for the Discord, it's so clean, bro.
Oh no, I don't even know my Facebook password, dude.
Mine's automatically logged in. If not, I wouldn't know it.
Right, exactly.
Somebody ever steals his computer, they're gonna be like, "Who the fuck is Tony the Icon?" I'm be like, "What it do?" It's boy Paul Wall. Got my mouth looking something like a disco ball. Where's my photo? I just saved it. Did I save it? Why do they have a picture of a Nick plant?
I'll change mine later.
Yeah, we should just get it started.
I'm gonna have to reset my password or something. Okay, everybody ready?
Sure.
I haven't reset my password since like 2009. Okay. Alright, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to the Dark Magical Gaming Podcast. We are now on Season 1, Episode 8. Joining you again here, you know me as your host, Michael Boyd, alongside my co-host, Korey, Tony, and Kazi. Today we're going to be talking about how to side deck, the necessary steps that go into side decking, what the thought process with side decking should be. And if we have some extra time at the end of the episode, we're going to lightly touch upon the high representation of the branded Albaz deck. So who would like to get started here on some side deck tips?
Me, the guy.
Okay.
The person that's probably have more seat time that will ever admit with this deck. So
just to clarify, we're talking about current format side decking, like what you should probably be considering in your side, and then what matchups you should be siding those in for.
Tony trying to jump ahead to the end of the episode.
I guess I'll go ahead and say as a Despia player. I guess if you're playing Despias, a lot of the times our matchups are going to be coming in. Either dimensional barriers are going to be coming into the deck, where it's like dimensional barriers. I've seen the what's the Ghost Sister that needs effect is like effect Baylor?
Mourner.
Mourner. I've seen Mourner being played. I've seen there's non-fusion area, something like that. It's a weird tech that people are playing. It's just like little cards like that are coming in against the deck. Super Poly being the main go-to. I think those cards like that, like Ghost Spell, especially Ghost Spell being played in the main, it seems pretty hectic as far as just like being a Despia player. Because like right now, it's just there isn't much in the meta that you're losing to except for like a barrier statue lock, but it's one of those like a lot of the times the mirror matches you're gonna have to play as in your opponent better have it, and Like that was one of the things that like I saw on the deck profile from the guy that topped Columbia. He was just like in the mirror match. A lot of the times is you're playing, you better have it, and that's something that like I know me and Boyd had discussed prior. It was just like, hey, listen, like going forward, like this is the way we're going to have to play it. I said you better have it because if you don't, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So as far as side deck options, I think like for the deck, not against it. I would recommend cards like Dimension Barrier, even though yes, you're playing the mirrors and fusions will stop you. But a lot of the times it's like you can go ahead and interact, like you can chain to D-Barrier, or you can make your fusions and then react to your opponent and then D-Barrier to stop the rest of your opponent from interacting even more. So it's kind of one of those weird things. I know I saw another little weird tag that I saw was defusion. It's because a lot of the times people will super poly you and get rid of whatever materials you have. So like if you leave, for example, in my list, I play Dragoon. Might leave like Dragoon and Albion on the field. Or if I leave Dragoon and Albion or Dragoon, Albion and Lubion, they'll go super poly, take away my Dragoon, take away the Lubion, or to make the Predator plant monster. Well, you can defusion that monster and then bring back the materials because they'll be engraved. So it's just like it's a counteraction to super poly. Because the monsters go to your graveyard and you can just super poly back your board, and that's how you're countering the super poly. As far as in regards to siding in against the deck, the card that honestly hurt me the most was what's that shifter? The hand trap that birds are playing.
Yeah, Dimension Shifter.
Yeah, that card. So on my final on Saturday, I went XO like Swiss. I played 2 Eldritch. I played God Almighty, it was an Eldritch. I played Birds. I played who else did I play? Honestly, one of my matches was like so fast. I don't even remember what he was playing. But
This guy's striker.
oh yeah, Ben. Now against Melvin. That matchup was like so quick. Like all he saw was Brave Engine, and I was just like, all right. Then game 2, he just made Brave DPE. I normal summon, and it just went off, and it was just like his one interaction was the DPE. So like it was quick. So it was one of those weird matches, I guess. But like I did see the dimensional barriers. I did see the super poly against Eldritch and anti-spell fragrance has literally been the bane of my existence, and especially with floodgate decks, because like yes, you can react to it, but you can't chain stack in any way possible to make a fusion monster as chain under anti-spell. Because like if you go standby phase and then standby in the draw phase they flip anti-spell, you may be able to chain the branded opening, but you can't go branded opening chain branded in red, and you can't even go branded in red to chain branded opening because there needs to be a valid target in the graveyard. So like because there isn't a valid target in the graveyard, you can't chain both quick effects. So it leaves you kind of like, okay, well now I have to play under anti-spell, and it puts you a turn behind. And a lot of the times it's like you're playing against Eldritch or you're playing against a rogue in general, and they'll lock you out. So it's just like they'll set up with Twin Twister, so they'll set up with something to kind of remove the spells that you might set. And I think like anti-spell is key. Even in this current format, I know me and Boyd have been theorizing on how to play Secret Village and the spellcasters in the deck. To our ending boards can be like Dragoon plus Secret Village plus another interruption, where your opponent cannot play at all because the Despot deck plays 0 spellcasters. So it's just like one of those like, how do we counter a deck that's not consistent? But adding a card like a Secret Village worked for me. I tested it. I usually have a theory to try to test as many hands as possible. I usually try to set myself at 25, but that didn't work for me. So I'm not sure about what you guys are siding in. I know I seen Sherrod. I'm not sure what else you guys got.
Yeah. So for me personally, obviously I'm playing D barrier. I've considered just in Sword Soul. I've considered playing one Fallen of Albaz, and then like a fusion target for the Fallen of Albaz. Just obviously because the recursion of Ecclesia is good, and being able to out the monster. The only thing is with Ice Jade is like you have to have a way to stop the destruction in the end phase. Cause like it's pretty easy. Like I want to say it's pretty easy to break the board, but if you like with Sword Soul, you're usually able to play through a good amount of interruptions with relative success. The issue then is if they end on Ice Jade and you have to out the Ice Jade if you're not Foxy shuffling it back, like then you're losing your board at the end of the turn. So
does Ice Jade still trigger to nuke if it's removed from the graveyard?
Yes, okay. Because it says removed from the field. So
gotcha. Okay. All right. Sorry, you can continue.
Yeah. No, you're good. So like that's something that I'm trying to figure out still. But basically, honestly, my side deck is like 3 rivalry, 3 D barrier, because rivalry's pretty good against the deck if you use it in the right spot. Like if you rivalry, if you can like force them into like Lubellion, or not Lubellion, the other fusion dragon. If you can force them into that, then they're locked into dragons, and like the only other dragon in the deck I think is Fallen of Albaz, so they're kind of stuck there. Then, like obviously, Sword Soul it's all worms, so you don't really care too much about playing in a rivalry. And the rest of my cards are to beat Flunder, because like that's the only other deck that's annoying as fuck to play against. I think D-Fusion is good. Just because it's kind of like equivalent, like say it's like the equivalent of like a chalice, a better chalice against that matchup. Just because like you can like preemptively like hit them in standby phase and stuff. So it's just a way to out the monster. And then like obviously that doesn't trigger. It also doesn't trigger Mirror Jade. So if they're like holding the branded in red, try to bring it back for its effect. Like you can like kind of force the branded in red early when it's like suboptimal. So it's just like I think that's a good deck. I think non-fusion area is just bad. I think it's a bad card. I don't think people should play it. But it's like $8 now, so.
So for me, I've just been trying to come up with some crazy, weird ways that probably are not correct to sort of counteract SB, but I just think it's kind of cheeky. Because I know Tony was talking about this some time ago. Was playing Cyframe Gear Delta, just so you can negate spells. So if you want to do the branded fusions, you can stop it that way. I think it's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of funny. So I ordered copies. I'm gonna test it out, see how I feel about it. But I think that it's pretty interesting with the deck that it's sort of bringing the format to a much more grindier state compared to what we were before, and I think that's pretty good. So I think some of the other important cards to side in against the deck is Lancia is really good. You can stop the branded in red. Of course, Ash is really strong against branded fusion. Bell against branded in red as well. You can Crow, so if they go branded in red, you can chain Crow and the target. That sort of deals with everything as well. I think Korey also mentioned this as well during standby or the draw phase. Cosmic or Tin Twister, the branded in red, making the Chimera come up at a suboptimal moment. So there's plenty of ways to sort of deal with the board going first. I think the deck shines now going second. rather than first. So what will happen is that you always try to go first, no matter what. But if you lose the die roll, I feel like the Despia deck is inherently at an advantage because I feel like cards just feel a lot stronger going second. They're more. They don't really set up the highest presence turn 1, but turn 2, when you're interacting with an opponent's field, the deck is kind of bonkers. So other cards that I think is worth siding in right now is probably definitely don't play Nib, don't play Droll, because those builds are. I mean, a lot of the builds I think are right now moving to the Frightfur package, but I think if Droll is particularly bad because branded opening, they'll just use it in the draw phase, play around it pretty nicely. Valor is also becoming suboptimal now because they will do the only really good targets for Valor is the Aluber, but if Aluber comes out in the draw phase off of branded opening, it's also nullified there as well. So I think that's what makes the deck really strong right now. It just plays around so many cards, and that's what makes the deck really, really resilient and robust. And then when you combine it with the Adventure Engine, I think it's just another beast. So that's the other thing. I think Ogre's falling out of favor, but I think maybe keeping 1 or 2 may be useful to do with the Adventure Engine. But yeah, and then going first against the deck, Anti-Spell Fragrance really good. Also pretty cheesy is Prohibition. Prohibition Call, Super Poly. It's not good at all, but it's other things that people can be. You can try it. I haven't tried it myself. It's probably absolutely terrible. Cross out in the mirror match is really, really strong. But there's plenty of ways to sort of play against the deck. The deck is just so strong right now. It rewards players who are very technically minded and outplay opponents, and it rewards players that way, which I do like because now it's bringing a different level of thought into the game right now. Just previously with just combo decks, you make the board and your opponent can't break it. So I'm really happy with how the deck is doing right now, and I'm excited to pick it up myself as well. So let's see.
Kazi, so as a reward to, I guess, the podcast listeners, you want to tell them the tech that you brought in?
Oh, for which one? Right now?
Yeah, the side frame.
Yeah, man. So the Cyframe Delta is just a card that if you control no monsters, you can essentially just trigger it on the activation of branded, literally any spell that you want to negate. You can use that, and it negates the activation and destroys that card, and summon that card as well as a Cyframe driver. So it's basically a gamma for spell card. So I'm gonna tell you, it's probably not very good, but who knows? Maybe we may be onto something, and then. It became powerful because you essentially have Ash at 6 copies if in theory what I'm thinking is correct.
Yeah, so the issue that I have is that it negates activations, and that's a problem because branded in red,
Right.
And branded fusion says you can only activate this card once. So if the activation gets negated and you have a second copy, they can go off with the second copy. And then now you give them Chimera targets. So
plus I think the most successful lists are all playing branded open, or is it branded opening? Not branded opening. What's the continuous
branded
spell?
Branded lost.
Yep. They're playing branded lost, and then you can't negate the activation. So
yeah, I played Lost in Richmond, and then Richmond in Greenville, and like when I was able to see that freaking card, like I was not losing.
It's over, right.
At all. Like I should have played the Little Bird, and I think going forward, I'm gonna be playing that Little Bird too. It's just too good not to play. Like
just a generic negate.
It is. It's just like it doesn't care where the monster is. It's like you're activating something in grave, like hand or field or just a monster effect in general. Like, nah, my guy, like that's not happening. It's like gamma, but it's just like a searchable gamma, and it's really, really good.
The gamma without a driver.
Yeah. So
right.
And it's got so much synergy with the deck because if you banish it,
it adds one of all beds, right?
Yeah, it adds falling from the deck to the hand. So like in that situation, it's like it replaces itself, or it adds any monster that lists Fallen of Albast. So in theory, you can still add Ecclesias from deck to hand. So That's really good. I thought about Delta before, and I wanted to pick them up last week. From Andrew from the shop, but he only had one, and I was kind of like, well, crap. Like I thought you had a play set. But then I just like I was looking more into it, and I was like, it's really good because it puts your opponent and you better have it, and if they don't have it, you're losing. And it's just like, and if you're playing a deck like Sword Soul, or you're playing a deck that realistically doesn't get locked into fusions, like Despia does, you can use it as a reactive card. So whenever you start a combo, like you start a play or whatever your play may be, you can like when they go branded in red, you can just stop that play there, go into a synchro 8, and realistically continue playing from that point.
That's cheesy. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's just like you can use it as reactive, or you can use it as defensive. So a lot of the times, it's like I think it's a really good card. I haven't seen much play with it, but I think it's good because like it puts the mirror match at a whole different skill level now. Because like now that puts me at like, okay, well, do I have to bait the Ash first, or do I have to bait the Delta first, or or does he have a Bell? So like now you're looking at 9 possible cards that you're gonna have to react to instead of just Ash Bell. Because right now everybody's already prepping to react to a Bell. We're prepping to react to an Ash, but nobody's gonna be ready for that Delta at all.
Yeah, nobody, no one. Like I said, I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna try it. It may be absolutely garbage, or it may be insane. We will find out. I will let you guys know when I start testing this.
Yeah.
In theory, it sounds amazing because it sounds really good. But we'll find out. We'll find out for sure.
So for me, like, in my experience playing against the deck, it's like, it's weird because when you play like a dark fusion based deck, that cuts off a lot of like of the best cards that you can use against it, which is why I'm about to like take a break from Hero for a minute, because you can't take full advantage of like, you know, Dimensional Barrier, or I mean, I know we said non-fusion area is not good, but you can't use cards like that because they prevent you from playing as well. So like I'd been trying Contact C, which has been working, but it's just like it's like a temporary solution to a long-term problem, because it would never really take over, because they just start playing the Springen's fusion, which is Fallen of Albaz and any monster that was special summoned this turn. So they would just start to use that. But like as far as just a general outline on side decking, it's always good when you side. The first thing I do before I even look at my side deck is I go through and I say what is bad in this matchup. Like for example with heroes, like you play against Flow Wanderies, there's no point in keeping in Mass Change because Dark Law does nothing. In fact, Dark Law helps them. So like that's the first 3 cards I take out. And even if I have nothing dedicated for that matchup, I have to have something that's somewhat better than just 3 vanilla cards in my deck. So I think going through and taking out the cards that you know for a fact are not going to be helpful in that matchup is a good place to start. And also like having a side deck pattern, you know, like that can be X number of cards, it can be 5 cards, it can be, you know, 7 cards, whatever, that you know that you always interchange in between games. I think that's really important as well.
I think going into any matchup, and like this, or like I guess for like anybody that's wanting to play competitively, like before you even approach an event, you should have like your side deck prepared for basically like your worst matchups.
Yeah.
Like, and then you should have an established side deck pattern. Like you should know which cards you're taking out before you ever sit down at the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and like I have wrote down here too, like to try to have some overlap. So like, you know, if one of your worst matchups is like Flow Wander, and let's say there's another deck that's a bad matchup that primarily uses Banish, like, and those are both hard matchups, I might would pick to play something like Lancia over Shared Ride, just because you'd have the overlap for both matchups.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like when it comes to side decking, like right now I was playing 3 branded in red. It's usually one of the first cards that comes out. When Um, like I'm in my list, I made a 3 Allure. I think Allure is probably one of the most like abused cards you can use in that deck, especially when everything is a dark. It serves multiple purposes. So like if you open Allure in Tragedy, um, you can go Allure, draw your 2, banish your Tragedy, and Tragedy affect the search. So like it takes you from 2 cards to 3 cards. So realistically, instead of Allure replacing itself with a +1, it's a +1. So like, and it's a +1 with a search. So like, you end up 2 cards in hand, you banish a Tragedy, and then the Tragedy is going to get you a replacement body. So in theory, you can get 2 cards that are unknown in a Jester, and then go normal summon Jester to try to play with a Jester. So a lot of the times it's just like I will try to side out one of the Brandon Reds because I don't want to see it. If I'm going second, I side out Foolish. Because I want reactive cards as fast as possible. I don't want to open something that's like I'm opening it at like into an anti-spell fragrance. You know what I mean? So like I want to be able to draw something that's going to be either I'm going to play it now and get the play off, or I'm going to go ahead and like set it up to continue playing. Like if I open a Foolish Burial, it's into an anti-spell fragrance. It's not going to do anything. It's going to be dead in hand. It's not a card to push forward. Like, it's one of the 3 cards that I side out. So, like, that's another one. If I'm siding out 3, usually the third one ends up being like an edge imp. Because right now I'm playing 3 edge imp, 2 polys, and 1 Pfeiffer patchwork. So it's 3-2-1 ratios. Because usually I'll resolve the patchwork once, and I don't want to see it again. Because, like, I already have the poly in hand. I already got the edge in hand. Like, if I usually like I can push through game with that. Like, getting another edge, like a lot of the times you end up fusioning off the edge, and to make your double masquerade play, you end up fusion summoning with the double the edge imps. So if the edge imp's the last card you have on hand, then when you like in the end phase, you can go Branded in red, set Branded in red, and then you can fusion summon your opponents, and that's what they're doing. They're fusion summoning during your opponent's turn with the Branded in red, banishing the edge imp, banishing the comedy, and banishing the ad libitum, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
To go ahead and have 3 chain interactions, and then make Chimera like the 4th stack. So it's Chimera 1, add 2. Edge imp 3, and then 4th would be Tragedy. Or you could realistically flip that, because like you don't want your ad to get ghost spelled, but you also don't want your Tragedy to get stopped. So if you do Chimera 1, add 2, Tragedy 3, and then Edge imp 4, the last thing they have to react is they can either Ash the edge imp, or that's it, because they can't go spell the ad because it's on a chain stack differently. So when it comes to being reactive, I think edge imp in that situation to get another patchwork. But edge imp has to go from hand or field to the graveyard, not from deck, and they can't go to banish. So like you end up like in that situation where it's just like, oh, I open too many patchworks, or I open up too many edge imps. So like that's why I thought the ratio 3-2-1 was probably the best, and it's worked out really great for me. Where it's actually question, it's three polys, 2 edge imps, and one patchwork, and that ratio, like Korey saw me play some of my matches, and like Allure Darkness draws were just OP. Like I noticed it's like I ended up drawing like Branded in red and Branded opening, I think off an Allure, banishing a Tragedy to search again. So it's not like I wasn't playing. It's like I'm playing. And it was, I guess, my bird matchup. But it's just like certain interactions that the deck does now. It's you have to take more consideration to it. And respecting cards like Allure is one of those, like, if I see it in a mirror match, I'll know that it's just like, okay, well, they're gonna either banish a Tragedy and I got to Ash a Tragedy now, or like have to let the Tragedy resolve, let them add the Jester, normal summon the Jester, add the poly, activate the poly to stop the Branded fusion, to stop that. But then by then they have so many resources available now that they're gonna have a response to the Ash. So like Ash seemed kind of like one stop to 4 searches. Where do you stop the deck? And I think that goes back to Cos's thing. It's just like SA goes second deck. When you can see exactly what you have to respond to, your lines of play are a lot simpler. Because like you're like, okay, I gotta bait that, I gotta bait that, I gotta bait that, I gotta bait that, and then I'm making game through with branded red and like or branded fusion. And there's been so many times where like I have 5 cards in hand, drawing to my 6th card, and I'm like, okay, I got 5 cards that you have to play through, and once you play through these 5, like I'm winning because I'll make branded in red, and it's just like I'll go branded in red, and then like I'm branded fusion, send Fallen, send the high target, go down a little bit, do my Lubellion banish, make add Lubellion, and then if I send the tragedy to the graveyard, get the body, discard the body for the target, and then just go off of that. So like in that situation, it's just like I'll be able to make Dragoon, add Lubellion, and Lubellion off of a branded fusion. It's 3 fusion summons. Given I can only attack with Dragoon and the other one, but like you still have to play through 5 other cards, and realistically by that point, if I haven't been able to clear your board, like I'm already lost. Like I'm already at a loss. So I think it's a really impactful deck, even whether you went first or second, like Kazi said. And it's just like the 1 card interaction with branded fusion is just too much to not take advantage of. One thing I do want to add though is like with the current meta shaping the way it is, right? Like, do you guys think like base decks are getting like overpowered, or it's just like,
Bro, those decks are done, bro. They're done, bro. They're done, bro. It's over.
you think so?
It is over. It's over. Like you can't. Like I've been playing like the Rose Dragon deck, and it's just like I said, you end on like 3 interruptions, 4 interruptions max, and like Despia is just like literally the last card to resolve in their hand is branded fusion. So like they literally just play through everything just to resolve that last card, and at that point you've lost. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is it's like those decks just not having such a great time right now. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a little crazy how the meta changed so quick. Like we were getting tired of 60 card base decks, and it's just like I didn't expect the meta change to be this drastic, but I'm kind of glad that it did, because like cause it's like, yo, like you're talking again, like yeah, like when I when I really like this deck. Like this is probably like one of the favorite decks so far in the game since like I've started playing. Like when it comes to favorites, this is definitely like I don't even have 5, bro. Like I have 4 decks that I've played that I genuinely love, and that's been Cosmos, Mech Knights, Virtual World, and now Despia's. Like that's it. Like I haven't played a 5th deck to be like, oh man, I love this deck, blah 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 blah. It's been like those are the top 4, and this deck, when it comes to me tier wise, I will always put Cosmo in a pedestal, because like Cosmo was what Cosmo was during this format, but it would go Despia, then Cosmos, then Mech Knights, and Virtual World for like my favorite 4. And it's just like I love the artwork. That's what I loved the first time I saw this deck. I saw Jester and like being opened in OCG, and I was like, what is that deck? Like, holy crap. I started doing the research, and then like as soon as the cards got announced and finally got updated on Dueling Book, I started testing. And it was just like from day one, bro, like we can go through my history on Dueling Book, and I think I've showed Korey before where I've had Springens builds, I've had Pride Brigade builds, I've had the Kaiju builds. I've had so many different variants. I've had fusion deployment. God almighty fusion deployment decks. Like, just to try to make this deck work, and it's just like, the LCG is like, hey, look, we're going to give this broken Shadow fusion to the deck. That's exactly what it needs. And then they gave us branded fusion. And I was just like, this deck is insane.
That's all it needed, right?
Yeah, so like I'm happy where the meta is shaping right now. I think it kind of puts an equalizer on this 6-card variance, because now you're gonna have to build for consistency and power, and recursion, not just consistency to lock. Like I know, I think Boyd or Korey might have said it earlier too, or actually not, it might have been you, Kazi, where it's just like before it was just like, hey, I'm playing during my turn. I'm gonna make this board. If you can't break it, you lose. And
Right.
now it's just like, go ahead and make whatever board you think I can't break, and I will break it, and I will OTK you through it. Like, it's crazy. Another card I actually want to give a highlight to, it's Branded Sword.
The trap card.
Yeah. So
That card's stupid.
I have a combo line that I figured out yesterday. That sets it up so your ending board ends up being Q quarter, whatever his name is. Call it Q because I can't pronounce it. So yeah, you go Quartus effect to make everything 0, and then you just Branded Sword for game. It's like you banish 3 from grave, make 3 2,500 attack monsters that can beat through anything. So like, things kind of OP, bro. And you set it up using the Albion in your opponent's turn when you Mirror Jade. So you go Mirror Jade, send it to set it, and it's like cool. Like,
be like a spice. That'd be like something to consider, just like as like a spicy tech for like going second. Like, because you're not gonna want that in there going first, right?
No, because you want to set it. You want to set it with Albion, or you want to set it with Branded Dragon, because we were. There's an interaction that I wanted to check the ruling with Shrouded Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So in OCG, it was ruled that if you send a trap card from deck, like for example, let's say we send Sword, or let's say you send Branded in white. Some of the branded cards have the clause at the bottom. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate the effect of Fallen of Wild Bass, you can set this deck this in the field during the end phase. So if you're activating a card, let's say you go Albion, you get Shrouded Dragon to the graveyard. To activate Shrouded Dragon's effect is that you can send a card from the deck to the graveyard and just place this card to the bottom of the deck. And if you place this card from your hand, draw 1 card. So like if it's in your hand, it counts as fallen. If it's in the graveyard, it counts as fallen. So if you have it in your hand, you send one of the branded, let's say Branded Sword to the graveyard, put it in the bottom of the deck and draw a card. If it's in the graveyard, you send Branded Sword to the graveyard, set it back to the bottom of the deck. And then during the end phase, you can set the branded spell or trap on your side of the field, because you activated the effect. You sent it to as a cost to activate the effect of Fallen of Abaz. So it lets you set up for the following turn. So that's how you can set up Branded Lost using Shrouded, because Branded Lost is the same effect. It's like if this card, hold on, let me make sure that I'm not. Never mind. Branded Lost doesn't have it. But Branded Sword, whereas Branded Sword, Branded in white, and I think Branded Bond are the 3 cards that have that clause. If this card is sent to the graveyard to activate the effect of Fallen of Abaz, you can set this card in the end phase. So you use that interaction with Albion to be able to set it during the end phase of like that turn. So on your opponent's turn, you can really quickly go into a branded combo. So I like that interaction with the card. I don't like Shrouded Dragon, but I'm not going to say that it's a bad play because it's not realistically a bad play, but yeah, we'll see. I'll test it this week and see how it does, and if I like that interaction, then I already ordered my tokens. I ordered 3 Shrouded tokens, so they should be here by Friday. So that's what I'm kind of hyped for. So we'll see how it goes. And I think when's the regional? The 8th?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got
2 weeks.
We got 2 weeks of prep time. Is there a regional that Saturday?
No, it's just the regional on Sunday.
Yeah, but
Okay,
the
so
following
the only-
Saturday is Knoxville as well.
So there's one in Knoxville. That Saturday?
No, it's the following Sunday,
yeah,
right?
the following Saturday. Yeah.
So we got Knoxville. No, we got Richmond. No, Richmond on the 8th, and then what is it? That would be the 12th. No, it's 8 and 14th. Yeah, so the 8th and the 14th we got regional coming up. So there's plenty. Now I've said plenty of test time. But I'll give me the time that I need to test this line of play. I think it'll be okay. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Anything else you guys want to add?
I don't think so. I think I'm really interested. Yeah, honestly, I think I'm excited for a ban list. I think the next ban list is gonna have to be a really good list, just to like, kind of like, I don't want to say like fix the game right now. I feel like the game's pretty dominant right now. Either just based off like recent results that I've been seeing, it's just like trap deck, 60 card combo deck, or branded, and just fine. At least it's like diverse, but I just think there's like some cards that need to go. We've talked about it before.
Yeah,
and, I think it's almost time. Just because I think there's like a 2 week period where, or like a 3 or 4 week period where there's no regionals or YCSs. I think so. I think we should be seeing a list soon, but I just don't want to sidetrack into that. I'm just like excited to see what the list could do for the format.
Yeah, I think with Ghost of the Past coming out, I think Ghost of the Past will increase sales for the structure decks because everybody's going to try to have at least a more affordable access to Jesters. Right now, Jesters still being $100 a piece. So, like with the Ghost of the Past reprint coming out, like depending what the sales are going for, I think they'll give people the access that they want. They'll milk that product for a little while. And then once the rush, I guess the high of Ghost of the Past comes down, that's when they'll proceed to drop a list. And I honestly think they'll put Branded Fusion 2-1. But we'll see. Like I said, I'll play into the dice, and with one Branded Fusion, that's a different variable we got to play, and I just play Branded in White Control. Like, it's the exact same as Branded Fusion. Well, not really. Branded Fusion is just too good.
Damn, it's too early, bro. You're already putting the deck away.
Nah, like I said, I'll play this deck till it dies, and then
That's the thing. You taking it back to the corner and you trying to put it out already? Damn.
Bro, you have to realize that spell is just too good.
It is really strong.
The fact that you can send Fallen in anything in any deck, you can play it in Eldritch, right? You can send Golden Lord to make light. You can banish it. You can summon Albion effect. banish a Golden Lord or a banish the Fallen Bass and a Dark Monster from hand, and then you can make a Lubion effect to shuffle back whatever into the deck, and then you can go with Golden Lord, set a card, send it to the graveyard to special summon back the Golden Lord. So now you got Lubion, Albion, and a 3,500 Golden Lord, like off of a fusion card. Like it's
great. It is.
Yeah,
crazy, yeah.
You can play it in whatchamacallit.
You can also just like put in absurd like materials. Like I've seen people using like Token Collector and Snow as materials for Branded Fusion.
Yeah.
And then like just setting that up is like so free.
That was something that I didn't mention when I was talking.
I'm not sure which one it is, but I think there's one that you can fusion using Token Collector.
Yeah, like when I was mentioning like the best cards of side deck earlier, I completely overlooked that having like quote unquote like searchable like side deck cards is always like a major advantage. Obviously, like you see this with Branded Fusion sending Necro World Banshee for Zombie World against the Flunder matchup, which makes it pretty much free. So always stay on the lookout if your deck.
I got logged.
To be fair, he was too far established at that point, but if your deck can take advantage of like searching a side deck card, always take advantage of that as well.
Yeah, I think the meta shaping up to be pretty dope. So hopefully we have this meta for at least it give me like at least till my birthday. Like let me go to Chicago and play my deck in Chicago for my birthday, and then you can do whatever you want to it. Like,
bro, what happened?
Give me 3 months.
What happened to our birthday?
Nah, I'm selfish.
Bro, you can't hold July 20th just for yourself, bro.
I'm older. I was born first.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. That's it for me. I honestly don't have much else in regards to, I guess, the current meta. Like I said, I'm really happy with the way it's shaping right now. I'm excited to see what happens in Mexico. I really hope that like it's not top 32 mirror matches, because that means the deck will not make it out of Mexico. So,
Yup.
Yeah. Last time that happened, like literally, it was Zoo format, and then it was no, it wasn't Zoo format. It was Spiral format. It went Spirals, and then previously was Zoo, and then previously was Pepe. No, it was Pepe then Zoo. Whatever. It was 3 decks consistently, like dead. Like it came out like top 16, top 32, like just tier 0, and I was just like, yeah, this has got to go. And I've cried that river before, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully they don't act crazy in Mexico, because I don't want to go to Mexico to play the YCS. I mean, I would love to, but going to Mexico is not something that I want to do. And this is coming from a Mexican guy. Like, so yeah.
I don't know. I'll just end it with this. Everybody, tell me your fraud cards. Thanks.
I'll wait for the reprints. Like, I think I saw that deck being played today, and I was just like, yo, that's low key insane. We'll see though. That's another podcast waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So, any closing statements for anybody? Any meta calls? Do you think? Here's a good question. Do you think that Despia, or the Albaz deck, however you want to call it, do you think that the deck has already been solved, or do you think that there's more potential that hasn't been unlocked yet?
Bro, the fact that they're not playing Allure Darkness, just a draw engine, is still crazy to me. Like, they have to realize that, like, the smart players that are just, like, on next level stuff will side in Lancias, so, because they don't want the Albion to revolve, or the branded red, right?
Right.
So, like, the shotgun it, a lot of the players are playing Lancias with shotgun it, so, like, easy side out, like, at competitive level, like I sought out the allures, right? So like then I'm playing everybody else's list to some extent because I still don't think, personally, I don't agree with 3 agent patchworks, 3 patchworks in the main, because it's once per turn and you can replace it with the edge imp. So like if you see edge imp in your hand, you get your patchwork, you activate your patchwork, you get your poly, this and the other. But like if you see an edge imp, you can see the patchwork, you can get your poly and that, and then that's it. Because you can't activate a fight for again, and you can't edge imp again. So like resolving it once is all you really need. And if you can see either or, you're resolving it. And then after that, like that agent is dead. You get like one good use out of it if you want to get the reoccursion, but all you need to get the first poly engraved, and then your Chimera is always protected. So like I don't think the deck's been solved completely. I think Andres Torres' list might be a little bit different, but from what I was told, his list is very similar to what topped at the Bogota. Yeah, but wait,
Because he got third.
yeah, what one at Bogota, so it wasn't like one of those like, oh, this is what happened or whatever, but it wasn't like it was a fluke. So we'll see. I still think playing Dragoon in the deck is too good to say no to. And the fact that they're relying on extra deck monsters to be the light targets still bothers me. But I mean, who am I to judge? That's pretty much it for me. I don't have anything else to say except for, hey guys, don't forget to show up Saturday. We're having the structured deck following the Bass release mat giveaway. It's going to be a $10 entry, 2 packs for entry into the prize pool per player, 2 OTS packs for entry. Advance starts at 3:30. Doors open at 12. If you guys need something, go ahead and message the page. I'll help you out wherever I can.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we got everything covered. So, yeah, this is Mike from Dark Magical Gaming, followed by co-host Corey, Tony, and Kazi signing out until the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Peace.